If you want to generate leads, you also need a smooth lead intake process. I've reduced the time spent on new leads by between 90 to 100%, depending on the type of lead. If you want to set up a similar process, I will show you how. Check it out. Welcome back. I'm Zach from InnerDev Solutions. We help businesses streamline their processes using custom no-code tools so you can focus on what matters most. To learn more, you can visit our website, innerdevsolutions.com, or use the link in the description below. The process is going to look something like this. We first need a way to collect information from our leads. So once our leads find us, we need to set up a form so that they can enter in information that's useful for us, and we'll also allow them to schedule a call. From there, we will log the information into our CRM. In this case, I'm going to be using SmartSuite. And then from that next step, we need to take some actions with the actual information they submit. And I will run through all of that. There is some tools that you're going to need to get started. There's links in the description below for each of those. That's SmartSuite, Fillout for the forms, and Relay.app we are going to use for the automation and integration. So let's get started here. I already have my SmartSuite CRM set up. There's a really simple use case. Some of you might already have something built out in another tool, in Airtable, maybe in SmartSuite already. If you don't, you can get started quite quickly here and set up something that at least gives you a really good starting. There's a few different ways to do this, but I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. We have a contacts table and we have a calls table. So contacts table, that's going to bring in obviously the first name, last name, phone, email, company name, those types of things. And at this point, we're also going to log the information such as services inquiring about what they're interested in and their specific needs. We'll collect that in this table as well. And then the automation will look after the scheduling piece. This is how I have the table set up in contacts. Here's calls, again, quite simple. Status, date, call link, event link, call notes. These are notes that will actually log during the call. Have any information in this until the call happens, and then we'll link the call back to the contact. That's how SmartSuite's set up. From here, we can navigate to Fillout, and in Fillout, we'll create a form. We'll connect to the SmartSuite table we have set up. You have to choose your account, and the solution in this case is just going to delete the app. We're going to log this information in the contacts table, and we will create a form. We can just call this. In your case, probably want to call it Contact Us, something like that. And that's where you're going to add it into your website, YouTube channel, wherever you're generating it from, or all the places that you're generating the leads from. Now that we've created the form and we've already linked to the table, you can see there's this option. It's going to be selected by default. And when you scroll down, it's actually dynamically brought in the different fields that exist in the table. So that makes it really easy for us to set up. First name, last name, bring in the company name, email, phone, the services inquiring about, we'll bring that in as well. And we'll also bring in the needs field. We can format this form a little bit to make it a little cleaner, put the first and last name beside each other, email and phone, we could do the same thing. And also on the right side here, this is where you have various settings. If you want to pass in default values, in this case, probably not helpful, but we can add captions, placeholders, we can make different fields required, and there's some additional options. I'll go down here to the page, label this contact details, and then we are going to add a new page. And the new page is going to be scheduling. I am going to be using the Fillout scheduling option. So I'll select that. We'll go one-on-one. I'm the meeting host in this case. Select this and I can just label this whatever I want. So the meeting title will be Consult with Zach. You can choose your event duration, your location, which is Google Meet, and we'll create this. I'm not going to spend too much time in the scheduling view here. There's a lot of different settings. If I go down to advanced, I'm going to toggle on this pre-fill fields option. From here, I can go into the respondent email and I can just pass in the email that was entered on this page. So there's no point having a user enter in the same information twice. Respondent name, we'll select that. And there is something we need to do because at this stage, we cannot pass in two different fields, but we can go to this calculations tab. We'll select it and we'll create a new calculation, and we can just label this full name. The type, we'll want to change that to text, and we can create the calculation. And now this is the initial value, and this is where we can pass in the first name, space, and last name. And I can hit done and close this out. And now on the respondent name, I can pass in the full name that we concatenated together. If you go back to event settings within the scheduling page, we can go to notifications. You can turn on a reminder email, and there's also a general notifications tab here. So we can set up an automated workflow. So if I hit edit, we can come into custom emails, and maybe we want to send them a thank you email. So we'll hit this create workflow, and the trigger is just going to be when that form gets submitted, this workflow will start. And they already have a send email action set up here for us. If I hit this plus icon, you can see there's a number of different integrations and automations that we can add in here. I'm just going to leave it as the send email. We'll keep it really simple for now. So I'll click this edit, and it's already passed in this email for us. The subject, your submission was received. That's fine. And then we're going to send the email from Fillout. We can navigate over to the email, and we can customize this as well. Instead of hi there, we can get rid of that, hit the plus icon, and pass in the first name. Now it will say, hi, first name, your submission was received. Here's the details. You can really add whatever you want, but that's beyond the purpose of this video. Once you've published it, you can open up the form, and we're going to add in some sample data. So add in first name, last name, company name, the services inquiring about. We'll pick 2 and 3, and I need help. Then you hit next to navigate to the calendar page. We'll pick a day, a time, and it's passed in the information that I entered already. And I will just click schedule event. We can go back into our CRM, and we can see that the contact got logged within our table based off of all the information we submitted in the form. If I go into calls, we can see there's nothing here, even though we know that we just scheduled a call. I found the event that was added within my calendar, and we can see here that it got scheduled at 1:30 on April 9th as we selected, and it's passed in a link to cancel or reschedule the call if needed. But there's nothing else within the description, and I'm going to show you something that we can do to add in the contact link from our CRM. Go to Relay, create a new workflow. We'll label this lead gen or new lead, and we can go add a trigger, go to Fillout, and new submission. If you have not connected with or authenticated Fillout yet within Relay, you'll have to do so. Pretty straightforward. And now, based off of the form submission, this workflow will trigger, but I do want to add in a filter. Now, based off of the way we have the form set up, they have to schedule a call, but if they didn't, this would be a more useful step. I'll go into this drop down, and then we want to make sure that an event ID actually does exist. We want to say is not empty. And then at that point in time, this workflow will trigger. And we can see if I expand, this is all of the data that we just submitted within the form. First step, we want to find that contact in SmartSuite. So we'll search out SmartSuite and we'll select it. We can do find record. Then you want to select your table. So you have to pick your workspace. You'll have to select the solution, and then we can select the table we want, which is contacts. We only want the first matching record, and there really should only be one record matches. We're going to search for the email field, and then we want to make sure that it exactly matches the email from Fillout. If no records are found, it's going to fail. Now we can navigate to the next step, which is another SmartSuite step. We'll go SmartSuite, create a record. This time we are going to log the actual call within SmartSuite. So again, we have to go find our workspace and then our table, which is calls. In the fields to populate, we'll bring in date. We'll bring in the link to the contact. We'll bring in the call link, and we'll bring in the in-event link. So now we can go into the date, select this reference date, and we'll go to the submission. We'll select the event start date and time. Hit save, link to contacts. That's linking back to step 2. Call link, I have to go back into the submission, hover over this and bring in the event link. We'll go submission, consult Zach, event URL, and that should be all of the fields that are needed at this point in time. Next step, we actually have to find the event in Google. So I'll just search for calendar, Google Calendar, and we're going to find an event. You have to select the calendar that you want to search for, the first matching event, and we are going to do this based off of the event ID. Now, if we select an event ID, go down to submission, consult with Zach, and we'll just pass in this event ID. Even though it shows that it's not going to work, it actually does because the event ID matches the calendar event ID correctly. No event is found, we can fail, and now we can go down to our last step, which is Google Calendar. We're going to update an event. The event we're going to update is from this step 4, the title. Pass in the title that it was previously given. I'm going to go down a couple spots here within the description. I'm going to pass in the previous description, add a line there, and then we're also going to pass in the contact link from SmartSuite, and I'll just label this SmartSuite so we know where this is going to direct us to. And I'm actually going to pass in the call link from SmartSuite as well. So now I can highlight the contact link. I'll select this option here. The destination URL will be dynamic, and the contacts was found in step 2. So we can go into here, scroll to the bottom, and pass in the record URL and hit save. Now the call link, same thing. We'll click this link option, pass it in. It's from the step 3, and we can pass in the record URL. Everything else basically remains unchanged. So from here, we can hit done, and now we can give this workflow a test run. If you really wanted to have the call link, so the Google Meet link within your CRM, you could add an additional step, which is going to update this record here. In calls, it will update this record and pass in the call link, although it's probably not necessary. So from here, we'll give this a test. We'll start a test run based off of the data that we previously submitted in Fillout forms, and we can give this a start and see what happens. Looks like it was successful. It found the record in contacts, created a new record, calls, found the actual calendar event within Google Calendar, and made the necessary update. Back into my CRM or my contacts table, we can scroll across and we can see it's now being linked to a call. If we go into calls here, we can see it's been scheduled April 9th at 1:30. Here's the event link, and it's been linked back to the contact. So if I click this link, it will take me to my Google Calendar event. When I open it up, we can see that there has been an update. So if I go down to the description, we have the contact link and the call link for SmartSuite right here, so that once we get notified that our call is coming up, we can easily click into it and find the associated records within our CRM. I come into here, view the information that they submitted, do a quick review of their needs, and that way we're prepared for our call. Now, once the whole process has been set up and everything has been turned on, this form will exist in some way on your website or wherever you collect leads from, so that when they open it, they can easily fill out the details required. They'll hit next. They'll be able to schedule an event with you. And then once they hit submit, the workflows will happen. So they'll get notification that an event has been scheduled or a meeting has been scheduled. You'll get notified. It'll get logged within your CRM. Both the contact and the call will get logged. And if you want to add in other steps to this workflow, you can. I will go back into Relay quickly, and I'll just show you one last thing that's possible. So if I hit this plus icon, Relay has this really great feature. So they've got some AI features and web scraping features that will allow you to do research on the customer or the lead that is reaching out to you. So you have some flexibility here. You can look up their LinkedIn profile. You can look up the company specifically by doing a search on Google, get text from the website. Here is where you can get LinkedIn profile data. There is a lot of different information that you can get using these actions. You can do a Google search based off of the company's domain if you want to collect that information from the lead. It's really endless what you can do, and you can get a lot of information to easily and quickly prepare for your call. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for more tutorials in the future.